Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna. So this is a special month, the month of Kartik, and it is considered to be a month in which the mercy of Krishna is more easily available to all of us. And so devotees, they make special vows on this month. For example, they may say that I will not criticize anyone or correct anyone or for the whole month of Kartik. And the idea is hopefully we continue, right? Or I will not complain about anything or anyone in this month of Kartik. So in this way they try to give certain things up, but also they may add things. It's important to add things. After all, Krishna consciousness is a positive process, most positive process. So they add the chant, they may chant more rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra on their beads. They may read more, things like that. Also, what devotees do is that they offer a lamp to Krishna, specifically Krishna in the form of a baby is Damodar, and Yashoda. We have a picture here on the altar of Damodar and his mother, Mother Yashoda. So they offer a lamp in the evening, in the morning, while singing a song, Damodar Ashtakam. So we have some lamps here. If anybody, please offer, you could offer. So sometimes the examples given, it's like a cell. Some of you were at some home gatherings recently. You heard about the cell, but you could hear about the cell again, at least one more time. They say if something's important, you could hear about it many times. But it's like a cell. So, for example, everybody probably knows the store. What is it called? Nordstrom's? Yeah. I don't think we've become so detached that we do not know about Nordstrom's, or we forgot about Nordstrom's. But so they tend to have good quality things. With of course, more of a higher price things in comparison to like Walmart, for example. So let's just say that Nordstrom's, they're having a big sale. I think there's one here in Mission Valley. They're having a big sale. So the whole store, 80% off everything. So a lot of people will be lining up to buy clothes, to buy shoes, to buy purses. I don't know what else they sell there. Sweaters. They'd be lining up. We definitely know that. Just like we have coming up soon. What is it? It's called Black Friday. That's the similar principle. People line up. It's a good deal, so they don't want to miss the deal. Some people, they camp out overnight there, maybe a few nights, to be first in line, right? Get a good deal on a new laptop or Xbox or whatever they want. So similar to this particular month of Kartik, it's like there's like a sale going on. And it's just, if we just do or add some things in our life, we will very easily get the mercy of Krishna. That's the idea. It's like it's a sale. And in the month of Kartik, there's many wonderful festivals, holidays, or holy days. There's the celebration of Govardhan Puja that will be happening soon. This coming Friday, November 1st. So it's a big celebration here at the temple, celebrating Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill. There's also Gopashtami that will be on the 9th of November. That is a celebration where Srimati Radharani, Krishna's eternal consort, she disguises herself as a cowherd boy, and she goes out with Krishna and his friends. So we'll have Srimati Radharani here dressed as a cowherd boy. So it's a special festival. We'll also have a special surprise there at the festival, Gopashtami. So there's appearance of Radha Kund, for those of you who know Radha Kund. And like this, there's many festivals. So another festival that happens in this month of Kartik happens on this particular Ekadashi, which is Rama-ekadasi, or is it? Yeah, Rama. My old translation of Caitanya Caritamrita must have a mistake then, because it says Rama. So we have to. But I guess the new translation says Rama. So Rama-ekadasi, it's a special festival in which Srila Prabhupada, he finished the translation of the Caitanya Caritamrita. The Caitanya Caritamrita is most advanced book for Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Of course, there's many most advanced books, but you have the Bhagavad Gita, which is 700 verses. And then you have the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is 18,000 verses. And then you have the Caitanya Caritamrita, which is considered to be in succession a book that devotees read after the Bhagavatam. And this Caitanya Charitamrita is the life and teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna come again 500 years ago. So he finished this Caitanya Charitamrita on this particular Ekadashi. And what he did is he wrote concluding words to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we'll take a quick look at these concluding words at the very end of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and we could read and discuss some. Yeah, and then we could move on to the next part. So if everybody could please repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Alright, so Srila Prabhupada writes, today, now of course this is going off the lunar calendar, so it doesn't exactly correspond to Western calendar, but this particular Ekadashi is when he finished it. So today, Sunday, November 10th, 1974, corresponding to the 10th of Kartik, Chaitanya era, 488, the 11th day of the dark fortnight, the Rama-ekadasi, we have now finished the English translation of Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami's Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita. In accordance with the authorized order of His Divine Grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Goswami Maharaj, my beloved eternal spiritual master, guide, and friend. Although according to material vision, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, passed away from this material world on the last day of December, 1936, I still consider His Divine Grace to be always present with me by His Vani, His words. There are two ways of association, by Vani and by Vapu. Vani means words, and Vapu means physical presence. Physical presence is sometimes appreciable and sometimes not, but Vani continues to exist eternally. Therefore, we must take advantage of the Vani, not the physical presence. The Bhagavad Gita, for example, is the Vani of Lord Krishna. Although Krishna was personally present 5,000 years ago and is no longer physically present from the materialistic point of view, the Bhagavad Gita continues. So Srila Prabhupada is saying that on the order of his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he finished this particular, this translation and commentary on the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And although Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, before we continue, Om Jnana Tibidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshulanaditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Bhukam Karitavachalam Pangam Langayate Grimya Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinitananam Vacha Gopduribhishta Kripasundibhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So he's saying that although his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, passed away considerable years before this translation was done, he still feels that he's associating with him, with his guru, by Vani, by instructions. And that is an important point because the physical presence of the spiritual master is not always there. Just like Srila Prabhupada himself founder of the Hare Krishna movement, he passed away in 1977. So at the most, his disciples were with him physically for about 12 years, and some less, depending on when they joined the Hare Krishna movement. But the disciples continued to associate with Srila Prabhupada by his instructions, by following his instructions. By the way, we'll also have a Remembrance Festival of Srila Prabhupada, which will be held here in the temple room at 5:30 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th. Tuesday, November 5th. So we're celebrating Srila Prabhupada's life, and everybody's, as far as possible, we are on a bit of a time, we're always restricted by time, but as far as possible, everyone is encouraged and welcome to say something, how Srila Prabhupada affected their life. So this particular celebration of Srila Prabhupada's life is actually celebrating when he disappeared. So the Vaishnava understanding is that the appearance of a great devotee is auspicious, just like the sun rising, very beautiful. And the disappearance of a great Vaishnava is also auspicious, just like the sun setting, very beautiful. And the disappearance specifically at that particular time, the Vaishnava has displayed their wonderful activities in this world. So yeah, November 5th at 5:30 p.m. We'll be celebrating Srila Prabhupada's this Remembrance Festival. So, and then Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Bhagavad Gita that 5,000 years ago Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, but now we're benefiting from the Vani, the instructions. Srila Prabhupada tells, or one of Srila Prabhupada's disciples explains how he had a dream one time, and in the dream he saw Krishna and he saw Arjuna speaking on the battlefield. So Krishna was speaking to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Bhagavad Gita, the message of Bhagavad Gita. So then in the dream, the disciple explains how Krishna transformed into, or changed into Srila Prabhupada, and how Arjuna changed into this disciple. So this disciple, he asked Srila Prabhupada about this dream. It's Hayagriva. He asked Srila Prabhupada about this dream, and he told him about the dream, and Srila Prabhupada said, "Oh, good, very good dream." Now, it doesn't mean that the spiritual master becomes Krishna, but it means that the message is the same. The message that Krishna spoke to Arjuna is the same as the message that the Guru speaks to the disciple. So in this way we could benefit from the instructions. In this connection we may call to memory the time when I was fortunate enough to meet His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, his Guru. Sometime in the year 1922, His Divine Grace had come to Calcutta from Sridham Mayapur to start the missionary activities of the Gaudiya Math. He was sitting in a house at Altadanga when, through the inducement of an intimate friend, the late Sriman Narendranath Mulak, I had the opportunity to meet His Divine Grace for the first time. I do not remember the actual date of the meeting, but at that time I was one of the managers of Dr. Bose's laboratory in Calcutta, and I was a newly married young man, addicted to Gandhi's movement and dressed in khadi. So does anyone know why Srila Prabhupada was dressed in khadi cloth? Yeah. Who wants to say? Okay, Guru Krishna.
He was protesting the British occupation of India.
Yes. So Srila Prabhupada, he was a follower of Mahatma Gandhi, and Mahatma Gandhi was protesting everything British, because they were trying to get the British out of India. So therefore Srila Prabhupada was wearing khadi, because this was a cloth that local people made. And he also rejected his diploma from the university on that basis. So when he arrived, when Srila Prabhupada arrived to this place in Calcutta where his guru was, to be guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, our Srila Prabhupada, he arrived in cutty cloth as a young married man, addicted to Gandhi's movement. Fortunately, even at our first meeting, His Divine Grace advised me to preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English in the Western countries. But at that time, I was a complete nationalist, a follower of Mahatma Gandhi's. I submitted to His Divine Grace that unless our country were freed from foreign subjugation, no one would hear the message of Lord Chaitanya seriously. Of course, we had some argument on this subject. But at last I was defeated and convinced that Lord Chaitanya's message is the only panacea for suffering humanity. I was also convinced that the message of Lord Chaitanya was then in the hands of a very expert devotee, and that surely the message of Lord Chaitanya would spread all over the world. I could not, however, immediately take up his instructions to preach, but I took his words very seriously, and I was always thinking how to execute his order, although I was quite unfit to do so. So at their first meeting, his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he told him that, because he went there with Narendra Mullik, his other friend, he told him that you two are young, educated men. Why don't you spread the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world, the message of Bhagavad Gita all over the world? And then Srila Prabhupada explains here how they had an argument about it. In other words, he was saying that our country is under subjugation of the British. How can we talk about spreading Krishna consciousness? First, we need to become free, then we could talk about spreading Krishna consciousness throughout the world. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur in so many ways defeated that idea, and he said that the message of Krishna is so important that it cannot wait for anything, any external reason. It shouldn't wait. So he convinced him. In this way, he was always thinking how to carry out the order of his guru, how to spread the message of Krishna throughout the world. And interesting enough is that there was some predictions that his guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, made about Srila Prabhupada coming to America and going throughout the world and spreading Krishna consciousness. Okay, in this way I passed my life as a householder until 1950, when I retired from family life as a vanaprastha. With no companion, I loitered here and there until 1958. Then I took sannyas. Then I was completely ready to discharge the order of my spiritual master. Previously, in 1936, just before His Divine Grace passed away at Jagannath Puri, I wrote him a letter asking what I could do to serve him. In reply, he wrote me a letter dated 13th December 1936, ordering me in the same way to preach in English the message of Lord Chaitanya as I had heard it from him. After he passed away, I started the fortnightly magazine Back to Godhead, sometime in 1944. Has anybody seen that magazine, Back to Godhead? Prabhupada started in 1944. It's still going on. Devotees in America, they produce, I think it's once every 2 months? Yeah, once every 2 months, it's a Krishna Conscious magazine they produce. And then also in India, they have their Back to Godhead and other places throughout the world. So he started this Back to Godhead magazine. After I took sannyas, a well-wishing friend suggested that I write books instead of magazines. Magazines, he said, might be thrown away, but books remain perpetually. Then I attempted to write Srimad Bhagavatam. Before that, when I was a householder, I had written on Srimad Bhagavad Gita and had completed about 1,100 pages. But somehow or other, the manuscript was stolen. It's a strange thing, because you think, what are you going to do with a manuscript, bunch of paper? I mean, somebody stole it, though. It's really, anyways. In any case, when I had published Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto in 3 volumes in India, I thought of going to the USA. By the mercy of His divine grace, I was able to come to New York on September 17th, 1965. Since then, I've translated many books, including Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Teachings of Lord Caitanya, and many others. So he's explaining his life. He got this order from his guru when he was a young man. He went through his householder life, and then he retired. He went to Vrindavan, and then he decided, let me go to America, New York City. And he says that sometimes he was dreaming of coming to New York City. Not to enjoy New York City, but to give people Krishna consciousness in New York City, which he did. And then he came to New York, and then the movement spread throughout the world, and he translated many books. This is what he's... In the meantime, I was induced to translate Sri Caitanya Caritamrita and publish it in an elaborate version. In his leisure time and later life, His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur would simply read Sri Caitanya Caritamrita. It was his favorite book. He used to say that there would be a time when foreigners would learn the Bengali language to read the Caitanya Caritamrita. The work on this translation began about 18 months ago. So there's a whole history behind that. The 17-book marathon. Srila Prabhupada was, because the devotees were saying that they could produce a book, one book every 2 months, right?
I think it was
2 books a month. So Srila Prabhupada, he was translating the Chaitanya Caritamrita, and the devotees, his disciples, were saying, well, we could publish 2 books per month. And then Srila Prabhupada wasn't happy with that. He wanted the books out as soon as possible. So they're walking in Venice Beach, and then Srila Prabhupada said, I want all the 17 books done in 2 months. Right? He said he wants all 17 books done in 2 months. And then some of his manager, was Rameshwar, one of his managers, said, oh, Srila Prabhupada, that's impossible. And Prabhupada was walking, and he was very determined, and he put his cane down, and he looked at him, he said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. So then Rameshwar, he fell back, and because they were walking as a big group on the beach, he fell back to the back, and he started to think, okay, how can this be done? And they came up with all different types of ideas how this could be done. That all the artists from New York and other places in America would come to Los Angeles. All the persons who are working on the books, they could all come to Los Angeles and go on a marathon, pretty much working throughout the clock every day. And our Dravida Prabhu, he was on that marathon. He helped publish Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Caritamrita. And the 5th canto. So, and it happened. They did it in 2 months, 17 books. Amazing. And of course, there's a lot more to... Yeah, it inspired the movement to do many amazing things. So, this is what Srila Prabhupada... The work on this translation began about 18 months ago. Now, by the grace of Lord Caitanya and His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, it is finished. In this connection, I have to thank my American disciples, especially Shriman Pradyumna Das Adhikari, Shriman Nitai Das Adhikari, Shriman Jayadvaita Das Brahmachari, and many other boys and girls who are sincerely helping me in writing, editing, and publishing all these literatures. Okay, so we're almost done here. I think that His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, is always seeing my activities and guiding me within my heart by His words. As it is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavaye, spiritual inspiration comes from within the heart, wherein the Supreme Personality of Godhead in His Paramatma feature is always sitting with all His devotees and associates. So Krishna is there in the heart as Paramatma, and he's there with all of his associates. And for somebody who is sincerely serving him, he will give the intelligence and he'll give guidance to that person from within the heart, how to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. It is admitted that whatever translation work I've done is through the inspiration of my spiritual master, because personally I'm most insignificant and incompetent to do this materially impossible work. I do not think myself a very learned scholar, but I have full faith in the service of my spiritual master. If there is any credit to my activities of translating it is all due to him. Certainly if he were physically present at this time, it would have been a great occasion for jubilation, but even though he is not physically present, I am confident that he is very much pleased by this translation work. He was very fond of seeing many books published to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, our society, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, has been formed to execute the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So, he's saying that his guru is very fond of publishing books to educate people on Krishna consciousness. So we're continuing that tradition. And soon in the month of December, there'll be an opportunity where devotees throughout the world, every continent of the world, practically, they'll be making a special effort to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books to their friends, to their family, to people wherever they go. We have some full-time distributors here, some of the brahmacharis here, Govardhan, Dwijamani. They go out at least 5 days a week to distribute Srila Prabhupada's books at universities and Balboa Park and so on. So December is a special month, and we're trying to distribute at least 5,000 books total. So you could distribute books personally, or you could sponsor books. There's sponsorship opportunities, means you give a little money, and the books are sponsored, which means the devotees could distribute them at a lower price, means more books go out. So that's an opportunity for everybody to help. And there'll be more information about that coming soon. All right, this is the last part. It is my wish that devotees all over the world enjoy this translation. I am glad to express my gratitude to the learned men in the Western countries who are so pleased with my work that they're ordering in advance all my books that will be published in the future. On this occasion, therefore, I request my disciples who are determined, now we could say grand disciples also, who are determined to help me in this work to continue their cooperation fully, so that philosophers, scholars, religionists, and people in general all over the world will benefit by reading our transcendental literatures, such as Srimad Bhagavatam and Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita. Thus ended the Bhaktivedanta purports to the Chaitanya Caritamrita dated November 10th, 1974. So this 1974, at the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, Hare Krishna Land, Juhu, Bombay. He finished this work. So when Srila Prabhupada, he finished this work, devotees, it was a common that they would go up in the morning and they would knock on his door and they would all go on a morning walk on Juhu Beach. So when they went up there and knocked on the door, Srila Prabhupada didn't answer the door. And they were wondering, why didn't he answer why didn't his assistant answer the door? So then some moments passed, and then somebody came out and they said that Srila Prabhupada just finished the translation of Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita, and he said that we should have a festival. He said that we should have a big festival, and they should cook special prasadam for all the devotees. So that's what they did. They had a big festival celebrating Srila Prabhupada's finishing this translation of Chaitanya Caritamrita, the teachings and life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada liked the prasadam that the devotees made. They fed him prasadam, and then he told his assistant to go tell the cooks that the prasadam was very good. And he said that he had a hard time controlling his senses. Srila Prabhupada had a disciple, Yamuna Devi. She would cook for him, and they had this relationship where Srila Prabhupada would compliment her for her cooking. So when it was a certain level of like quality, he would go like this. And then when it was higher, he would go like this. And then when it was really high, he'd go like this. So then at one particular point, she made him prasadam. She's a very famous cook. She passed away a number of years ago, but she wrote all these wonderful cookbooks. But anyway, she walked into the room, and then he had all these small bowls that they would put the prasadam in. I forgot what they're called. It starts with a K, the Indian, huh? What is it?
Kotori.
Yeah, kotori, yeah. To little bowls to put the prasadam in. So he stacked all these bowls up like a little, So they're all stacked up, and then she walked in, and he went like this. The prasadam was very good. And then he got the stack of kotoris, and he knocked it down. And he said, Yamuna Devi ki jai. So, yeah. So it was a big festival day, so we have some special prasadam for you also tonight. Does anybody have any question or comment about this subject? Okay, Dravida Prabhu has a comment.
Just a little recounting of that marathon. I originally it was a 2-month marathon, as Prabhupada said, and I wasn't able to participate in the first month. Or rather, this is the way I took over the editing that Jayavita Swami was doing for the Bhakti magazine, so that he could spend full time with the books, with Hare Krishna. He came in there. So I was happy to do that, and I got some good experience by editing Prabhupada's article and things like that. But then after a month or so, Hare Krishna left the project, so they needed a replacement. So they had many devotees there who had been flown in, anyone who could read practically or do indexing or editing. So there were several devotees who might have taken over, so they had a little contest. But by that time, I'd gotten pretty experienced editing Prabhupada in the Back to Godhead, so I won that contest, and I got the great opportunity to edit 4 chapters in the Ancha Leela.
What was the context? I mean, the contest.
Well, there was, as I mentioned, the 5th canto order needed to be edited. So I think it was the first chapter with Priyavrata, and so that hadn't been edited. So they had a few pages of that, and they gave us that, and we all edited. And
oh, I see.
so luckily I won that contest.
Nice.
So I thought, I was just 2 years in the movement, and here I was editing the most advanced part of the Caitanya Caritamrita, the Ancha Leela, which is in the most the pinnacle of literatures in the Gaudiya Vaishnava. And I said, how did I ever get such a fortunate engagement? I mean, I really felt like I had been blessed by Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah.
And it was then that I started memorizing verses, because the Ancha Leela is full of all kinds of wonderful shlokas and everything.
Nice.
So and some of the devotees there, they would typing was going on, like all night. My window was right next to the building where they were typing. I could hardly sleep. And one lady, Ragatmaka, she had been a nun, and she joined the movement. She's already very, very renounced, and she would type all night. And Prabhupada recognized her sacrifice and mentioned her in some letters sometimes. So it was quite an experience. And so thank you for reminding me of that.
Yes, thank you. Any other? Yes.
back to Godhead magazine. I didn't know that it was still being published because I used to see it all the time back in Denver.
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking somebody was buying it and just distributing it at different vegetarian restaurants because that's where I used to see it all the time, and I didn't think it was still being published.
Yeah.
Cannot be obtained here. It's strictly.
If you go to Krishna, Krishna, Krishna.com,
Okay.
you could find Back to Godhead there. You could have a
Get a
order, make a
subscription?
subscription, yeah,
Okay.
and they could send it to your house. So,
Okay.
they work out of Alachua, Florida.
Okay.
So, and it's very reasonable pricing, I have to say.
$20 a year.
$20 a year? Yeah, it's pretty good.
Right on. Well, thank you. I didn't know it
Yes.
was still being published. That's cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and
I will look for it.
they wrote all types of nice articles on Krishna
yeah,
consciousness and all types of nice pictures. Sometimes people just buy them for the pictures.
It's incredible artwork. Yeah, right on. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? Okay, Govardhan.
Thank you,
comment?
Balaram Prabhu. You were speaking about book distribution. Maybe you can tell us a few of your Sankirtan stories. You know.
A few of my Sankirtan stories.
Yeah.
I think we'll have to bring you up here for that. You're the Sankirtan story man.
But Balaram was the #1 book distributor in America
Really?
back in the day.
I don't remember that.
Right?
Maybe in my dream or something. But thank you.
Tell us about Mother Mangal.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you a few stories. Anyways, I was out distributing books some years ago, and I was going door to door, or specifically shop to shop in National City here in San Diego. And I went to some like insurance place. They sell car insurance, whatever. And there was one young woman working there, and I went up to her and I said, "We're trying to distribute these books." And I made my whole pitch, how yoga, meditation, this, that, and write wonderful books. And she said, "Oh no, I'm not interested in that." And I said, and for some reason I was inspired, and I said, "What? Like you don't like the idea of God? Is that the problem?" And she said, "Yes, that's the problem." I said, "Okay." And I said, "Well, you could consider that there's different concepts of God." And I said, "Maybe the concept that you grew up with or that you're thinking of, you don't like. Like the misconception that God is out to punish people forever, hell forever. I mean, nobody likes getting burned. What to speak of getting burned forever? Getting burned is very painful. I mean, you've probably been burned while you're cooking or something. It's very painful. What to speak of getting burned forever? So, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, I explained to her, we don't accept that. That we accept that God is all loving and merciful, and he'll keep on giving the soul repeated chances to become perfect. And he's the most loving personality. So I was explaining that. She said, "Okay, I'll take the book." She bought the book. So that was nice. I remember there was a devotee. I'll just say one more. There was a devotee named Radhanath Das, and Radhanath Das was he was a young disciple of Srila Prabhupada, a very enthusiastic devotee who would go out and distribute Bhagavad Gita throughout the country. And he came down with a particular disease. I don't know if any of the devotees remember what that disease was. MS? Okay. So he came down with this disease in which his body became completely emaciated, and at one particular point, he had to have his legs amputated from the knees down. And, I mean, he could hardly move. I mean, you know, devotees had to help him, you know, practically with everything. But still, despite that, he would go out and distribute Srila Prabhupada's books regularly, maybe 5 times a week, something like that. He would set up in his wheelchair outside of Sprouts, outside of the post office. So he set up one time. He would set up sometimes in kind of obscure places like El Cajon. And I was walking out of that grocery store one time with my mother, and he gave me a book, Perfection of Yoga, when I was 16 years old. From that book, I became interested in Krishna consciousness. I came to the temple when I was 17, and then I joined the temple when I was 18. So that's the Sankirtan story. But for more Sankirtan stories, there'll be plenty of Sankirtan stories. In January, the beginning of January, after the marathon, Govardhan, who just asked me about the Sankirtan stories, and Dwijamani and others, they're going to be taking plenty of pictures of all the happy people getting books out there. And then they're going to make a special presentation with here at a Sunday gathering, showing all the different happy people getting books. And they'll also tell us some of their inspiring stories from their going out for the marathon. So you can stay tuned for some more stories. I just gave you a couple. All right, any last? Is someone shy? Looking around, it doesn't seem like anyone has any questions. It doesn't seem like they're shy. That's fine. Okay, good. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll move on to the next part. And because it's the month of Damodar, we will sing Damodar Ashtakam. So we generally don't encourage people to pull out their phones during this Sunday gathering, but you can now. You could pull out your phone and you could look up Damodar Ashtakam. We also have some papers we could pass around. So Damodar Ashtakam, Astakam, Damodar Ashtakam. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the song. So we'll sing that, and then we'll chant Hare Krishna, and then we can move on to the next part. So I think maybe Ramapati Prabhu could lead us. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. And also you could offer candles at this time. We have plenty of candles here. So please, everyone could go up and offer a candle to the deities. Don't get too worried about how many times you're circling them. Just, offer with devotion. It's okay. And we also, before we go to Damodar Ashtakam, we have an announcement by